Hello, everyone. Not that there's probably anyone there yet. We've only just switched on the live Friday. It's just gone 12:30. Back for another lunchtime live. Thank you for joining us, or if you're catching this on the replay. I'm fortunate enough today to have Barry LaValley join me. Any of my financial planning colleagues may have come across Barry in the past through the financial planning conferences and those kind of things. I've had the pleasure of seeing Barry speak a few times in the past. So thank you for joining me today, Barry.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Yes, it was great of you to kind of agree to talk to me. You're not in Australia at the moment, so maybe we'll start with kind of where are you and what time of day is it? And
yeah, well, you know what? It was easy to try and make the time. I wasn't going anywhere, so I am on the west coast of Canada. I'm on Vancouver Island in a place called Nanaimo.
Yep.
And if you know where Victoria is, or Butchert Gardens, where a lot of people would holiday, I'm just right in that area. So
a lot of cruise ships would otherwise trying to get around to that type of area. I know my parents have been on some trips over there and loved it. Cruises in years gone by.
But yeah. It's a beautiful place to live. I'm out. I look at the boats going across to Vancouver right now. I can see the ferry, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah. So what's life like for you over there at the moment? Are you being confined, or where are things at?
Well, confined as in no social distance, or practicing social distancing.
Yep.
We haven't shut down me taking my dog out for a walk, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Or my wife and I going for walks, and we go to the grocery store, but practice social distancing there.
Yeah.
I had to get some blood work done today at a lab, and only one person allowed in at a time, and you made sure, and everybody's all gowned, and so you make sure you keep your distance. We haven't had the experience that they've had in the U.S. and in Eastern Canada. But I think that that doesn't mean we won't get it. It just means that ours is later in coming, perhaps a lot like yours.
Mm.
But I'll tell you, in the U.S., James, it's awful. It is just awful.
I was chatting to someone earlier in the week that's on the New York side, and he's saying it's absolutely horrible. The experience that we've got here, I'm in Melbourne, is very much the same as what you've said. We're still able to go out and walk the dog and go to the shops and those kind of things. It's just, if you can work from home. Childcare is still operating. Schools it's on school holidays now anyway, so that's taken.
Our childcare is not operating. They've shut all that down.
They have.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They shut my golf course down. I couldn't believe it. But, there is no socialization at all. And the only businesses that are open are businesses that they deem to be essential businesses. So you've got banks, although you go to a bank, nobody's in it. You've got, gas stations or petrol stations. You've got stores, not stores, but grocery stores. And that's it. Nothing else.
Yep. So if anyone's there watching, there's a few people kind of going in and out. If you've got any questions for myself or Barry, particularly my financial planning colleagues, just drop them in the comments, and we'll try and get to them a little later on. So it's Thursday evening where you are. Is that
Thursday evening at 6:35?
Yeah. Have you had dinner yet? Is it been?
As a matter of fact, my wife made spinach salad and chicken, so it was all great.
Yeah.
All great.
Yeah, and are the supermarkets the shelves being decimated like they have been over here? Or is it?
No, and I think, and I tend to suspect that in Canada as well as Australia, when the shelves are empty, it's a supply chain problem that gets fixed the next day.
Yeah.
We've got the same issue here as you have as far as toilet paper and all sorts of that's the same here too.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
But there's lots of food.
Yep. And so you're generally coping well then, by the sounds of things?
Yeah, but it's scary, and I don't know how you feel about it, but it is scary. I found out today that my sister-in-law, who is a flight attendant, has got COVID-19. So my mother, who is 89 years old and lives in a senior citizens home, they're in complete lockdown. Nobody gets in except for their staff, but you don't know where their staff has been. So and I'm sure it's not going to take long before we know people who have passed away or got very sick, and they don't have to just be elderly. So you just think, gosh, I've never been through something like this before.
No, it is quite scary, isn't it? And it's not until you actually start to, not until there's people that you actually know, or family that are either losing jobs or become sick or something like that, that it becomes a whole lot more real. Like I've now got a couple of clients that have been made redundant for periods of time, or are very close to losing their jobs, and all of a sudden it's becoming quite real for me too. Fortunately, none of my immediate family has been impacted in any way so far, but it's more from the clients that I work with. I'm starting to see a bit of an impact there.
Well, if everybody skates through it, I think that's great. We got lucky, but I just don't see that this thing is going to be over for quite a while. And I'm not a pessimist. I'm just not. Yeah. But we haven't seen the downside of this yet. So we just got to hang in there. I know of people who have been laid off or don't work. We look at it at our own situation. I mean, every speaking gig that I've had booked and paid for the next 6 months, they've canceled, and justifiably so.
Yeah.
So, you got to say, all right, like again, being the optimist, what's plan B? Because there has to be a plan B. I can't just throw up my hands and say, I'll hide under a cover until things improve. I want to keep going.
Yeah. So are any of the groups or organizations who you may have had speaking gigs lined up with, are any of them open to doing like video conferencing and Zoom and those kind of things? Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a firm in Perth, for example, that I do a lot of work with who
you're there. I think we've frozen or lost you.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It just it comes and goes, I guess.
There you are.
Somebody explained to me at my provider today how this all works. But
you're saying there's a firm in Perth that you do some work with?
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah. You're saying there's a firm in Perth that you do some work with?
In Perth that I do a lot of work with. And we're going to do a series of video chats. We've got 10 on different topics around retirement, and it's all based on, okay, so what's the future look like? What are you going to do? How does this affect your life? When you look at it, it's a lot of what you're doing. And so we'll have 10 different subjects and 10 different chats on what these things are, what the issues are going to be. So I've got things like that. I'm doing some stuff in New Zealand, much the same way. I've got a couple of things in the US that I'm doing. So not everybody, there's still a whole group of financial advisors out there, James, who have just hid their head in the sand.
Yeah.
And they're paralyzed, and client says to them, well, what is this? Is this the end of the world? And they trot out those mountain charts of stocks, bonds, bills, and cash to show them how stocks always do well over the long run. And, a lot of information that is basically useless because they don't know what else to say. I mean, is this time, is it different? And of course the advisor, oh no, it's never different. Let me show you what happened during the pandemic of 1918. And, how the high tech stocks performed back then, but if a client feels like it's different, that means they think it's different. I mean, it's simple. And so we have to approach them in a different way. That's that old saying, and you've heard me talk about this before, you can't counter emotion with logic.
Yeah.
And I just think I see some of the stuff advisors are coming back to clients with, or firms are putting out, and I'm thinking, what a load of garbage.
Yeah.
So
your work would normally see you on a plane bouncing around different countries for most of the year. Yeah.
I do. I've got a contract in Canada with a large insurer, and they've taken my retirement stuff and they've added it to the benefit package or program that they put together for potential clients, and they're going to market it because it includes a lot of the money parts of things, but it also has added a life planning part, which I think is the big thing that's often missed in retirement planning.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to go anywhere for that. I can just stay at home and do that.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Perfect. So it sounds like there's a bit of work on for you, that whilst the speaking gigs may have been cancelled, there's opportunities for doing other things that keeping you.
But you got to find them. And whether it's your clients who are running into problems or other advisors who might be listening to this, this is our lot in life at the moment, and you can hide or you can make something of it. And successful people will make something of it. They will look at this and go, all right, I can't change it. So there's not much I can worry about. Worst case scenario, whatever the worst case scenario is, I suppose. But the fact is, you're here and you're healthy, hopefully, and you got to live. You got to keep going on.
So we were talking before this.
Changed.
Yeah. We were talking before I switched on the live, saying that, like in a previous life, many years ago, you worked as a financial advisor, but now more, what would you call it? More like a coach to financial advising businesses or something? How would you describe it?
Well, I title myself a retirement educator.
Okay.
But I have two things that I do. I'm a retirement educator, and I've written a number of books on retirement, on the non-financial aspects of retirement, and what we go through as we make that transition.
Yeah.
Much of the speaking I've done in Australia is in that area, but my secondary is to focus on communicating effectively with people. And myself, along with David Hines from Melbourne, have written a book called The Life First Advisor, which has gone over really well around the world. And it's to help advisors understand how to talk to their clients about life issues, about the needs, concerns, opportunities, and threats that clients have before you even sit down and build a financial plan.
I was talking to someone yesterday saying that I was speaking to you, and he turned around and he said, "Oh, I think I've got Barry's book on the shelf over."
I love to hear that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's certainly well received.
Thank you.
So maybe if we spend a few minutes talking on, if you've got the time to, like some of these transitions. Yeah. That's the beauty of trying to organize chats with people like this at the moment. Everyone's coming back saying, "I've got nothing else to do. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, I've got 20 minutes. I can speak with you." So it's working well. But maybe some of those transitions. So there's people out there, whether they're watching this or people that are watching this, maybe advisors for those. There's probably a large proportion of people that are in their 60s plus that might actually be getting redundancy packages and those kind of things, that they won't actually go back to work, and maybe they're going to be okay. But can you maybe talk through some of those transitions that people go through, the non-financial ones?
Well, this is a different time, and so a lot of people may find themselves suddenly retired, or say, all right, look, I was supposed to retire at 65 or 67, whatever it is. I'm 65 now. Why wait? Why don't we just do it now? But I think, as in regular retirement in normal times, I really believe people should take a close look at the kind of life that they want to live. And as I'm saying this, I'm also thinking, well, why would that just apply to somebody who's going into retirement? I think this gives us the opportunity for a reset, to look at the things in our lives that are important. And if we don't like our jobs, then we can change them. If we, once this all blows over, as I think it will someday, but it's time for a reset. And for somebody moving into retirement, a reset is to look at your life and go, all right, so you're only 67, which, by the way, is what I am. What do you want for the rest of your life? Hopefully you have good health. You can't count on anything these days. But what do I want out of life? What are my, and I call these my operating words in making a plan for the future at any age. And that's, number one is opportunity. What are your opportunities in your life? The second thing is, as you look at your life, what can you control and what can't you control? One thing it will come down to, James, is that, you can't control health and all those things, but you can always control your attitude. You can control the effectiveness of the money or financial resources you have, because you can set out plans, work with advisors. You've got control over that. And if everything's tied up in the stock market and you don't know why, other than you were going to double your money, well, you've got control over that too, because you need to go to an advisor and get them to slap you, and then let's figure out what we can control.
Yeah.
Third word is resilience. As we get older, we've got to learn to roll with the punches. And this is a skill that is being severely tested right now. How much can you roll with the punches? You get up, look at your portfolio every day and say, that's it. It's the end of the world. We've got to continue to move on. And if it's a new world, then we got to be able to, to morph into whatever this new world will require.
Yeah.
The fourth one is going to be time. What can you do in the time that you've got? I mean, at 67, and you've heard me say this before, I think, but I'm closer to death than I am to Woodstock. All right. Well, okay. What can I do with this? What's important in my life as far as where I spend my time, how I spend my time? And that leads directly to the next word, which is balance. And I got to balance my life, but I can't balance my life until I figure out what are the important pieces that will make a demand on me and on the resources I have. And then the last word, simplicity.
Yeah.
I got to look at myself in this world and at any age say, how can I make my life as simple as I possibly can? Don't want any debt, got to pay it off, got to make a plan so that so much of what happens in my life just happens without me having to worry about it. So that's kind of the
We got you there. Frozen again. I think that's. Oh, you're there.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back. There you are. In and out.
There we are.
Yeah. There. Got you. Yeah, we got you back there. Yeah, that was really good. Thank you for sharing that, Barry. I'm actually gonna watch this back on the replay and make some notes myself.
Hey, no problem. No problem.
I might. Yeah. I might just have a look at some questions and things. It actually had quite a few comments come through, which is good. So David King is a student, financial advising student here in Melbourne, who's been watching along, enjoying it. Graham's been tuning in a lot to these videos. So Graham, hopefully they're still there. It's been really interested to see your perspective from the other side of the world, and I think that with the guest that I had on earlier in the week that was on the New York side was really interesting too. So a lot of people in there saying thank you for sharing. I think there's a lot of value in that. A lot of advisors struggling at the moment with what to do and how they should be communicating with their clients. As you pointed out, it's all too easy to bring in that graph that kind of goes like this and say it's all going to be right. It'll eventually go back up, but that's not what people want to hear.
Well, the older we are, you don't measure your time in years necessarily, and I don't have time for things to come back. So I hope that I have done the right things as far as simplifying my portfolio. I've got out of the speculation game entirely. I have a financial advisor, and I've got, 40 years in experience, but I still want to take advantage of somebody that can take the time or free the time up for me. And so those are important steps, I think. We're going to do a webcast in Canada coming up next week, I guess. And it's put on by Moody's Analytics. And Moody's in Canada licenses all financial advisors here.
Yeah, okay.
And they've sent this out to 12,000 of their licensees. And we're going to talk about the psychology of stress. And the title of the whole presentation is How Are Your Clients Doing? And then in brackets, and how are you doing? And I think it's great for us to talk about how we can help help their clients. But I think we're forgetting you've got an awful lot of advisors who are just plain shell-shocked.
Yeah.
They've never seen anything. Well, who has? And it's like, okay, I may put on a happy face to my clients, but I'm going to bed 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to I'm tossing and turning,
Mm.
worried about tomorrow and what it brings.
And you also you've kind of got like if the advisor's in the middle here, they might have 100 or 150 clients that are potentially all calling them, asking them the questions, and they're the one trying to find the response. And it's like kind of bottling it all up. They need some release and someone to check in on them for that release valve. And it sounds like to a degree that's kind of what you're doing through this webcast.
That's what I'm doing for this group. So we're going to talk about some relaxation exercises, just ways that you can calm yourself down. What is the science of stress? And I've actually brought in a psychologist and lecturer to one of the universities in Canada who is also going to contribute to this, because I want the people to know what the science of stress management is. I don't think you can fix clients. You can help clients fix themselves until you fix yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all about a change in attitude. I actually think, believe it or not, that this is an extraordinary time for financial advisors. And I see this as an opportunity, but not for what most financial advisors do or how they currently play themselves. And so if we can show them that not only is there a light at the end of the tunnel, but if you are excited about what you do and you believe in what you do, then sit down, define exactly what it is that you do, and then go tell as many people as you can, because they're looking for advice from somebody.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you for joining me today, Barry. For anyone that's looking for any more of your material or to hear you speak anywhere, where can people find some of your stuff?
You can get hold of me on barrylavalley.com.
Yep.
Or send you a message and you can forward it to me. And I'd be quite happy to help.
Yep. Okay. Thank you for your time today. It's very generous of you to join me.
Hey, I'm available tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. So,
we can't go anywhere.
Well, I'm here. I won't even move. I'll let the dog take me for a walk.
Yeah. Good one. All right. Thanks, Barry.
Thanks, James.
Enjoy your evening.
I will. See you later.
See you.
Bye.